Morning started. So here's a few things today. This morning we're going to have a staff-wide PD, which is going on right now. And then from here we'll go to a couple of breakout sessions, which are led by a few teacher leaders and administrators. And then from there you have lunch. And of course the rest of the afternoon to work in your classrooms or any other meetings if your department has determined that. I don't know what's going on with this microphone. We're going to work this thing out. So, first and foremost, look at the screen in front of you. It says developing behavior expectations. Developing behavior expectations. Raise your hand if you have modeled some of those expectations that we went through with the PBIS standards of walking in the halls, of how you're supposed to conduct yourselves accordingly. Sessions that we had in the beginning. Raise your hand if you participated in some of those. All right, good. We've seen a lot of you do that. It's been looking really good, and the students are definitely buying in, so we're going to continue that. But today, we do a lot of professional development sessions on academics, on what you want them to do in your classroom as far as assessments and instruction and the things you want them to learn. But what do we really do with showing and modeling expectations in the classroom for behavior? We're going to talk about that today. All right, if we get the next slide for me, please. So, something to ponder. Let you read that. And if you can't read that, I'm going to read that for those back in the back. Think about how much time we spend developing and redeveloping specific plans on how to address every aspect of academics and our academic expectations. Now think about how much time we spend developing specific plans to address behavior. Just think about that for a moment. How much time do you spend addressing behavior or planning for behavior expectations when you are creating your lesson plan for your classes? Think about that. All right, go to the next one for me, please. So today, as we walk out of here, you will be able to demonstrate the importance of teaching and reteaching behavior standards. And you'll also be able to create your own behavior standards to be able to teach or reteach in your respective classrooms. So again, understanding the importance, key word here, I put teaching and reteaching. Teaching and reteaching. Two things. One is, some of them may have learned like now. There's some things that you may have went over in the beginning, the first couple of days of school, but guess what? You have to continue going over those. It's like Groundhog Day, and over, and over, and over. And just when you think they've got it, there's still some who don't understand, which means we have to continue going over. Teaching. When I was working with some elementary and middle school administrators and looking at this type of presentation, we're talking about behavior expectations. Some of them were talking like, well, do you really read or do you really teach certain behaviors in high school? And I said, yes, we have to. But the thing is, we don't spend as much time because in our head, what do we say if they're seniors? They should what? They should already know. They should already know. We're not in their households. Yes, they should already know. They should already know certain things academically by the time they're seniors. And for those who teach seniors, and you're like, what in the world? How did you become a senior? Because how do you not know this? The same thing with behavior. We can't just assume because of your team they're supposed to know certain things. So we have to take it upon ourselves to take a moment to be able to teach them. And it may be something small, and it may be something big, but we do have to take the moment to teach them. We cannot assume. All right, if you can get the next one for me, please. Working this technology out here a little bit. Maybe. So, no. Okay, so, John Hattie, researcher for education about student achievement. You look at the very top, and for those in the back, it's hard to see, the very top number one indicator for student performance. For those in the front, can anybody tell me what that is? Student expectations. Student expectations, meaning to get the most out of your students, we have to set expectations. We do a fantastic job doing all of our sessions and doing all of our planning for academics. But are we truly setting expectations, modeling, teaching, reteaching, behavior expectations? For behavior, oftentimes we do what? Well, you don't do this, you get this consequence. Here's the rules, you break it, here's the consequence. But are we teaching and showing and modeling and explaining the expectation that we have for their behavior in our classroom? All right, we'll go to the next one, please. Here's a quote from a book, Behavior Solutions, a great professional development book. Most educator preparation programs teach potential educators classroom management skills, how to plan behavior expectations within their individual classroom, and how to manage minor misbehaviors in class. Rarely are educators taught how to collaboratively teach essential behaviors across the entire school, then systematically and collectively respond when some students require additional time and support mastering these behaviors. The key phrase here is working collaboratively and teaching those behaviors. Working collaboratively, teaching those behaviors. We have CCCs all the time. We work collaboratively with planning assessments, instruction, looking at data. How much time are you truly spending in CCCs, truly spending talking about how you're going to address behavior and setting those expectations? All right, we'll go to the next one for me. So, what you're going to do today, you're going to create some expectations for your classrooms. Here are a few examples. What does this look like? Just look like. Does anybody tell me what it just looks like, the structure of it? Lesson plan, your standards, right? So this is basically all this is. I have a high school, this is the one I created for high school. There's a middle school example and an elementary school example as well. Basically, with this, we took the highest discipline infractions, one of our top 3, and created a behavior expectation from that. And so one of ours is classroom disruption. And it's even hard for me to read, so I'm going to slide up here a little bit. My eyes are a little bit older. And let me come over here. That's even worse. Let me go back. So, it starts off with your standard. Just like any standard in the lesson plan that you have, right? Ours, we're looking at code of conduct. The code of conduct, the standard is classroom disruption. So think about classroom disruption. That is what you want them to master how not to have. So the standard, as we have H1. H1 is the code that we use as administrators in the system for classroom disruption. And basically that definition for classroom disruption is students shall not intentionally make noise or act in any other manner to interfere with the teacher's ability to conduct a class or a student's ability to learn. So the I can statement, what we want them to master, what we want them to do. I can exhibit positive behavior in the classroom. It's that simple. I can exhibit positive behavior in the classroom. So you're trying to teach them to be able to do that. We can't just assume that they know how to do that. We can't assume that. Student expectations. Just like you have with your lesson plan on what exactly you want them to learn by a certain time by mastering that standard. These are the indicators that they would show that they have mastered the standards. Students will learn and apply the classroom expectations appropriately. Students will communicate in a respectful manner. Students will be engaged and an active participant in the lesson. Students will enter and exit the classroom quietly. And students will be punctual in the seats at the beginning of class. So again, this was just from my perspective, but these are some things that I consider, if they do these things, these are examples that they are showing and showing evidence that they are practicing positive behavior in the classroom. And then of course you have your key vocabulary terminology that you use, expectations, appropriately engaged, active participant, punctual, and then some more evidence of student learning. Well, if they are having positive behavior, you will hear some positive communication and actions in the classroom. You'll also have a decreased classroom-related discipline referrals, with an increased overall academic performance and your course pass rate. Those are a few things, again, just from my perspective, a few things that you will see that will show that there's evidence of mastering that standard. And then of course you always have your tier strategies. I have some tier 2 and tier 3 strategies at the bottom listed as well. Tier 2, we have individual conferencing, verbal reminders, peer mediation, having a proximity, and then we also have the calming room and the counseling suite. And then tier 3, a little more targeted for those students who need a little more attention. We have counseling groups set up. We also have communities in schools, and we also do a behavior contract that we have as well. So this is just an example of a high school one, and I'll have the high school, middle school, elementary school examples. We'll spread them out over here if you want to look at them. If you go ahead to the next couple, we'll scroll through, keep going to the next one. Okay, so you're going to get a blank template. Just could you hold that up for everybody to see, please? And you're going to create your own expectation. You'll get a poster, and you'll get a small sheet, a regular sheet of paper, the same size, or same template that you'll actually be able to fill in. But use it how you want. If you need sticky notes, I think I brought a sticky notes, but we have a couple of pens for each group. You're working in groups of about 4, 5, or 6 or so. So we'll hand a few of these around. You do not need to be in your respective CCCs because this is about behavior. Behavior is school-wide. All right? So we'll hand these out to you, and we'll give you about 15, 20 minutes to get started working on these. Literally not. No, I'll give you an example in my household. A few years ago, trying to teach a middle schooler about doing laundry, and I was like, go and put the clothes and take them out of the wash and put them in the dryer. And he put them in the dryer, so then at the end of the day, I come back, I go in there and pull them out. Everything's still wet. I'm like, something wrong, so instantly I'm thinking of calling, I need to call this service post to find out what's going on with my dryer. And I said, did you put the clothes in the dryer? Like, they're in there. You turn it on?
You didn't say that.
I didn't tell them to turn it on. So, again, we have to teach specifically, so then, once we teach, then yes, they know the expectations, and then from that point, it's like, okay, what do we need to work on so we don't continue going through that? I think that's the last one. And that was the last one. Why can't we finish that last sentence automatically like we do others? And that's the issue. Think about that. Again, so as you go back in your classes with behavior, some of them just literally may not know. And you're in your head, you're like, why are you doing? They just may not know. Show them that one time, and then again and again and again. Show them, and then help them. They should be good from there. That's the last one. And, all right, I am finished. Again, we'll get this information. I want to introduce one.